visits.
This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
The Labor Party has accused Tasmania's Energy Minister of going quiet following the release of a report looking into the feasibility of a second Bass Strait interconnector. Meanwhile, the government was busy spruiking the growth of a northwest manufacturing business following the closure of Caterpillar's Burnie mining equipment plant in 2015.
The state government says Maltec is one of the success stories. While business did take a hit following the closure of Caterpillar in Burnie, the company is looking forward.
The next 12 months is very positive for us, and we've also have a relationship with the mining industry down the west coast, which, with all signs out of mining at the moment, should lead to good signs for the next 12 months as well.
The plant has had to employ more staff to keep up with demand, with exports going strongly.
More shifts are being put on, more people are being employed with respect to in the last 12 months, which is great news.
Something that's not going as smoothly, according to the Labor Party, is the government's ability to commit to taking renewable energy seriously. Labor says a report looking into the viability of a second Bass Strait interconnector was released under the radar over Easter.
What we really want to see is the government take renewable energy seriously, not just put $1 million into feasibility studies that they then seek to bury.
Yesterday, Malcolm Turnbull announced the federal government will spend $2.5 million on studies looking at doubling Hydro Tasmania's capacity, and Labor fears the results of those studies might see the same fate.
We haven't seen one renewable energy project delivered by this government, and now we see them effectively now just trying to put a smokescreen of more feasibility studies.
The government says the state's energy businesses are already in advanced talks in relation to further major wind farm development. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
A coroner has handed down his findings following the investigation into the 2014 death of 66-year-old Tasmanian Heather Bird. The report states that the death of Ms Bird was preventable and a series of medical errors at the Royal Hobart Hospital resulted in her death. Coroner Rod Chandler has recommended a review of the team be conducted, focusing on consultancy input and supervision. A public inquest into the death will not be held. The debate over a controversial Dark Mofo performance continues. Hobart City Council Alderman Marty Zuko today weighing in with his opinion. Mr Zuko says that while the council provides funding to the festival, it isn't in a position to dictate the art it produces.
We've been funding Moonah for years now. And there has been, over the years, as we well know, Moonah has pushed the barrows. So this is nothing new for Moonah.
Austrian artist Herman Nitsch is set to perform a ritual with a bull carcass at the Hobart Festival in June. In a statement today, Moonah founder David Walsh says people who don't support the performance should not eat meat and do not have to witness the artwork. A new push for a light rail system between Hobart and the northern suburbs is gaining momentum. Those backing the project say it would benefit the state, but the government won't commit any funding, saying a new railway is not a priority right now.
Tasmanians have been down this track before, but this time there's some north-south rivalry.
Launceston's just achieved a city deal. Hobart could do exactly the same.
Ben Johnston says a development from Hobart to Bridgewater could cost the state and federal governments $100 million combined. Modelling by GHD predicts there would be 6 million trips made every year.
Well, from the word go, it could be up and running in less than 12 months. We already have the track. We just need some trains and to refurbish the stations.
Further work has to be done in terms of exactly what sort of investments are required and where that comes from.
Local business owners saying it would bring significant benefits.
We would just welcome, so many more businesses and restaurants and cafes, and it would just be amazing if Albert Road was like a bit of a, strip.
It really is a necessary part of our future development.
Others looking with a wider perspective, saying it would complement Tasmania as a tourist state.
The number of people that you could put on a train on the wharf and take them to the wilderness at Mount Field, pop them off there for a day, and it gives a great showcase to the real essence of Tasmania.
While the project might not be feasible immediately, it has potential in the future, of which a government would look positively on.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Cricket legend Steve Waugh has selected Tasmania to host this year's Captain's Ride, a cycling challenge which raises money for children with rare diseases. It's the first time the event will be held outside New South Wales, attracting sporting stars from across the country to our state.
Backyard cricket doesn't get much better than this.
Oh, nice.
Here's Steve Waugh's mentoring a special paceman, 5-year-old Xavier, who is diagnosed with an illness so rare, doctors can't figure out what it is.
Just can't put a label to what his symptoms are providing.
It's children like Xavier who receive much needed support from Steve Waugh's Captain's Ride, a 6-day invitational challenging mind and matter and raising around $1 million for medical programs.
The whole idea of the journey is to emulate in 6 days what our kids and parents go through each and every day. They do it tough against the odds.
The ride has previously been confined to New South Wales, but Tasmania's tricky terrain seems perfect for the pain.
I've seen some of the hills we're going to climb, particularly around Queenstown, so I've got to start training pretty seriously to get fit for it.
Plus, the state holds a special place in Waugh's heart. Belle Reeve, 1989, is where he knocked his first international Test century on home soil. Waugh's former teammate Matthew Hayden is confirmed for the ride. Likewise, retired Formula One driver Mark Webber and British decathlete Daley Thompson. More names will be announced soon, although one local icon's managed to slip out of the order entirely.
How about David Boone on the bike?
I've already mentioned to me, he'll be saying a few words, but that's it. He won't be getting on the bike. Life is not his style, I think.
The pedalling begins in November. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
The bravery of Tasmanian soldiers is being commemorated at a new exhibition at the Army Museum of Tasmania. Featuring personal images donated by local families, the museum is open to the public this Anzac Day.
Just in time for Anzac Day, this exhibition honours the bravery of our soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice.
We're focusing on the 40th Battalion leaving Tasmanian shores in 1916 through to 1918 and that subsequent year where the troops came home to Tasmania and Australia.
Images from the battlefield during World War I and personal photos are on display, many donated by local families.
People are interested, they really are interested in history, and particularly some people cleaning out home, grandfather's medals come up or something like that. Oh, what are we going to do with these? And we get those, we get that type of donation.
A lot of people have seen images from other sources like the Australian War Memorial, but many people will not have seen images that have been given personally by Tasmanian families to us.
1917, a significant year in our military history. 6 Victoria Crosses awarded to Tasmanian soldiers. But the name of the exhibition itself, 6 Bob a Day Tourists, focusing on a less serious side to the era, when soldiers were on leave.
Some of these guys would get a little bit of leave while they're in training here in Hobart and in other places, and they would obviously kick up their heels. They were quite well paid in World War I. And so the local townspeople gave them that nickname because they would come into town and play up and then have to go back to training.
The Army Museum of Tasmania says educating the younger generation is vital.
They're studying it and they're finding out lots more. So we're seeing a lot more people in the museum trying to make contact with their relatives or just to get a feel for the types of things that went on during the war.
Talia Higgins, Southern Cross News.
A young Tasmanian couple has reached a significant milestone this week, both being selected to represent the state at surf camps in New South Wales. The rising stars will travel to the development camps in May to be trained by some of the nation's best surf coaches.
They're stoked to be 2 of the best young surfers in the state, and the fact they've achieved it together is even sweeter.
We go surfing and, yeah, just lots of fun and enjoy each other's company, so.
STELLA Gibson and LACHI Robinson are both 15 and in grade 9. They've both qualified for scholarships to attend Australia's top under-16 surf development camps.
Surfers can sort of improve their surfing for competitions or just generally free surfing and just get sort of next level if they can, really.
Over 3 days, they'll be trained by some of the nation's best surf coaches. It's an achievement that the young couple say they've both trained extremely hard for.
Months just training, preparation for it. It's pretty awesome. It's amazing, really. I'm just happy. It's just awesome.
I'm really focused and really determined because I like to win and I like having that competitive side that comes out, and just also being with other girls in the water just kind of amps me up to get out.
They'll represent the state in May and June in New South Wales.
Just a tremendous opportunity. It's probably once in a lifetime for someone to get that.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
If you have children on school holidays in your house tonight, then this next story is for you. A Tasmanian dad has created Box World, which needs to be seen to be believed.
Streets and streets of intricate detail, all made up of recycled materials. This is the result of 20 years of work by father and now accidental artist Warren Thomas.
Let's give youngsters an opportunity to see something similar to Legoland, but of course different.
What started out as a home hobby made up of a couple of cornflake boxes and milk cartons has slowly but surely turned into a work of art. Box World has travelled up and down Australia's east coast, impressing children and parents alike. But with each move comes a little more wear and tear, and often parts of the city are damaged.
Inside it's quite fragile, my lady, so it breaks very easily, so unfortunately can't get into that. But around the outside, kids are welcome to drive, and they have been, different displays, and it's been great. They love it.
Warren is now on the hunt for a permanent home for his creation, keen to add a new addition to the state's tourism offering.
I am certain that it could be a major tourist attraction for Tassie and would complement Moonah.
Box World is open to the public at Don College in Devonport all week. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
Puppies are preparing to pound the pavement for the annual Million Paws Walk. With the event only a month away, the RSPCA is encouraging dog owners to start fundraising early by registering donations online. As always, there will be plenty of opportunities to support the organisation on the day.
Meeting other dogs, meeting other humans, being around noises that maybe they're not normally around, and smells, and so they're quite good days for that sort of thing.
The RSPCA runs 3 care centres around Tasmania, looking after more than 5,000 animals. Nearly 4,000 people are expected to participate in walks around the state. Now we'll look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed higher, boosted by positive leads from markets overseas and a lift in the price of iron ore. The ASX 200 index has risen by 32.7 points. Just a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.36 US cents and 82.41 Japanese yen. After setting the recent All Nations competition on fire, Tasmania's Jaden Appleby says the experience will help him become a better player. Meanwhile, Burnie is ready to back up its first TSL win this season against the struggling Hobart City Demons this weekend.
The long drive from West Park to Hobart heralds a golden opportunity for Clint Proctor's new-look side. Given Buckley's chance at the season's start, Burnie's win in last week's Coastal Clash has the side brimming with confidence.
It'd be great for obviously a young group that we have this year to instil some belief. That'd be terrific.
Victory against Hobart City tomorrow will add weight to a side ransacked of big names, but Proctor says shoes are starting to be filled.
Blair Rubach is another boy that stood up and kicked 4 goals last week, and Jamison House kicked 4 the week before, and those 2 boys have now moved into the Mariners program, which is really good.
Hobart City is still chasing its first win after falling 4 points shy of the Tigers last week. The Dockers will need to be hungry.
The one thing we're really after is the application that they give and their effort at the contest, and if they can do that, then results normally take care of themselves.
Meanwhile, talent scouts are keeping an eye on 15-year-old Jaden Appleby. He recently donned the state's multicultural Guernsey for the All Nations tournament in Sydney.
Oh, I met some of the best blokes I reckon I've ever met ever.
Awarded leading goal kicker and most valuable player in the tournament, Appleby was mentored by some of the game's greats.
It was a big opportunity up there to impress a few people, and just gave it my best and gave it my all and just kept playing footy with it.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
100 games is a milestone seldom achieved in the Seabull, but tomorrow night Olivia Chugg will join this exclusive club. After starting with the Launceston Tornadoes in 2010, Chugg weathered struggling seasons for the Tawns before being part of the team's recent success. She says friends and family will be courtside for the occasion.
Mum and Dad have been the best supporters, so they drove me to all my games, no matter where they were in Tassie, and I think for them to see me play 100 games at this level is going to really mean a lot to them.
The Tawns face Sandringham at Elfin Stadium tomorrow night, and in an hour's time Sandringham will begin its other match against the Hobart Chargers at the Derwent Entertainment Centre.
Good evening. Rain developed on the northwest today with light showers in the northeast. Morning fog was observed in the valleys with sea fog in the north also. Hobart reached a top of 25 degrees. It was 26 in Launceston, which was the state's high, 23 in both Burnie and Devonport. Grove and Bushy Park also hit 26 degrees. It was 26 at Wynyard, Maria Island, St Helens and Flinders Island, 22 at Strawn and Friendly Beaches, 21 at Low Head and 17 at Lyowini. Looking at the clouds, we can see an extensive band of middle and high clouds stretching over Tasmania and extending over Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia and the Northern Territory. A cold front is crossing the Southern Ocean and thunderstorm activity is present in South Australia, Western Australia and over the waters to the north of Queensland. On the close-up, middle and high-level cloud extending from the northwest with scattered low cloud elsewhere. Tomorrow a low reaches the northwest coast of the Tasmania with a trough along the west coast and a series of troughs over the mainland. Northeast to northwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots ahead of a southeast to southwesterly change extending from the south in the afternoon. Swells to 2.5 metres in the west and south. Showers developing in Hobart tomorrow, 20 degrees, 20 for Medina also, Oatlands 18. Launceston, a shower or two with a top of 21, showers for Devonport, 20, 15 for Lyowini. Showers for Burnie, Strawn and Marrawar, all 20 degrees. St Helens, 21 and partly cloudy, 23 for Swansea, Orford, 20. Now let's take a look ahead at Sunday. Showers about southern, eastern and central parts of the state extending to the north in the afternoon. Monday, showers in the north extending west through the morning, mainly fine elsewhere. Tuesday, more showers mainly about the north and west but increasing and extending statewide throughout the day. Around the country tomorrow, a possible storm for Perth, nice and sunny for Darwin and showers for Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne. Now let's take a look at the current conditions around the state. Hobart 18, partly cloudy. Launceston 17, partly cloudy. Devonport 18 and cloudy. Thanks, Joe.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for that, Britt. Well, before we leave you, it was an eventful evening last night at Kmart in Launceston. The fire brigade was called out to help two kittens, one stuck in the wall, the other in the roof. Initially, the pair ran away from their knights in shining armour, but 30 or so minutes later, staff were greeted by one dehydrated but otherwise healthy little kitten. The one in the roof also eventually came out, much to the relief of all involved. And that's all from the news team for now. Have a great evening. We will see you a bit later with updates, but bye for now.